Hi everyone, welcome back to the channel. I'm Pam, the lipstick lady. Although today, well it's evening today. It's not even like daytime, it's been a day. Not really a bad day, but it's been a day. I've been busy today. But the lipstick is wore off and I've got some lip gloss on, which I bought these a while back, these sets, and it's for, since it's darker, I've got my ring light on. But anyway, these lip glosses, there's 5 of them in here. There's a hydrating, a renewing, plumping, anti-aging, and repairing. It's by Manna Kadar, I guess is how you pronounce it. Anyway, I got these for my eBay store, and of course I got one for myself, because what girl don't like lip gloss? So this one that I've got on, I've got the repairing on. I like these. I've got one in my car, probably in this Texas heat. That might not be a good idea, but I've got one in my car, and yeah. Oh, and you know what? I forget I'm not used to even having this. I gotta see. Oh my goodness. Alright, let's see. I don't know if this is charged up. Oh, it might be. Got my little microphone. I'm not used to having this. I got this, I think before my last video. And then I found out that I could go on and edit. I don't usually edit these videos, or if I do, it's like very minimal. But I found if I edit these in the editing program that I have, CapCut is what I use. And if I go in there, if I download the video into there, I can actually turn the volume up on the video so that y'all can hear me when I talk. So I don't even know, honestly, if I need this, but maybe it'll help. I don't know. We got it. We'll use it. But anyway, so they have lip glosses, and that's what I have on tonight. And I guess I'll do this so that you don't have to look at the rings in my glasses. There's nothing I really have to see to read, so which is why I have to wear the glasses. But I hope everyone's having a good day. We had storms the last couple days here in Texas, and of course today it looked like it was going to rain, and I got just a very few little sprinkles when I was out dashing today. There's been so many days, I have a certain amount that I set out to make each day to pay bills and whatnot, and I've fallen short all week for the last week because of this stupid weather. It's been either, oh no, I feel like I got a hair stuck in my lip, probably dog hair. It's either been like super hot, which, I still go out even when it's super hot, but some of the door dashing is, if it's like a $3, they want to pay me $3 to go pick up their Chick-fil-A and drive it 6 miles to their house. Ain't happening. So, my car don't run for free, people. And when it's 100 degrees in the shade, I ain't doing that either. So, I've been dashing, but it's been either very slow with decent orders, or, which, that does happen from time to time, or it's been stormy, and I don't like to go out. I'll go out when it's raining. I never used to, but I will now if it's kind of raining, but I wear glasses, so for me to go out and try to walk up somebody's to their house in the rain with my glasses, I have a really hard time. Like if I'm home and I have to run out to my car, or I'm at the grocery store and I gotta run in, I take my glasses off, stick them in my pocket until I get inside, which is fine. But when you're delivering somebody's food to their front door, I gotta have the glasses on to finish the process of, taking the pictures and sending them in, and all the thing. So that's a little harder to do. If it's just lightly raining, I can manage, I can get through with that. But so anyway, dashing has been kind of slow. So today I thought, you know what? I'm going to go out. Yesterday it rained, and I got up with Izzy in the morning, got her breakfast. Thought I heard her at the door. Got her breakfast, fed her, and took her out because she thinks anytime she eats, or Dave or I eat, we have to go and walk. So I think because over all the years, we always let her out after she ate. And so now, when we live in an apartment, after she eats, she wants to go for a walk. And she thinks if we have something to eat, okay, she's got to take us out and walk us. We might have to go potty. I swear that's what she thinks. So yesterday got her out, and we got back in. And when I took her out, I thought, oh, it looks kind of stormy. But around here, you never know. It can look stormy. You can think, oh man, those are some ominous looking clouds there, and never get a drop of rain. They call it the Aggie Dome, which I don't understand it. I've been told we're in a valley, and that's why, the storms tend to go around us. I don't know how true that is. That's just what someone had told me after we moved here. So, I don't know. I can't say it's not true. I don't know. But, anyway, so took her out, and then it started to rain, and it came down. I think it was around 7:30 when I had her out, and by 9 it was pouring rain. And it came down, when you get a gully washer, they call them, we had that from 9 o'clock in the morning till, gosh, it must have been 2 or 3 in the afternoon. It never quit. There was all kinds of flooding and everything going on down here, and I thought, well, there's absolutely no way I'm going out dashing in that. For one thing, I don't want to get caught in no flood water. For one thing, I got a little tiny car. So, that's what it's been. Well then, so today when I went out, I thought, kept looking like it's going to rain. Looks kind of stormy out that way. But I thought, I've got to try to make some money today. So I stayed out and dashed. I only got a few little sprinkles. I didn't even have to turn my windshield wiper on, I don't think. Sprinkle a couple of times throughout the whole day. And even this evening, it's nice out, and it's not quite as hot as what it has been. It's actually been kind of pleasant. Been really muggy, but it isn't as tormented as it was. So I stayed out. I don't know. I still don't think I made a ton of money today. I got a lot of $2, $3, $4 offers, and I don't take anything under $5, just because of the fact, most of the time. It's been a few times I've taken one, $4 or something, if I'm near the restaurant where the pickup is, and it's coming on my way home or I'm on my way anyway, then yeah, I'll pick it up. Matter of fact, I had one the other day like that, and I went to the building straight across the parking lot from me. So, which, if you watch my last video, I was talking about the lady who has the loose pit bull that's out there all the time, just running all over and jumping on people and stuff. And, well, Dave actually had talked to one of the office girls. The manager was coming through, and he had said something to her about it, and she said, she goes, yeah, that's being handled, don't worry about it. And I don't know what exactly happened, but I seen them loading clothes in their car today. So, but that dog, even the maintenance man, drove by in the golf cart, and that dog was chasing him. And then he stopped and was picking up garbage, and the dog was jumping all over him, and the people don't say anything. It's 2 women, and the one looks like she looks like a big football player guy, is what she looks like. As one guy I watch, dog man calls them transvestilites. And that may be the case there. But anyway, her and this woman that's always with her, they don't say anything. Usually if the dog is out of control, they'll open their car door and they just stuff the dog in there. And I'm thinking, my God, it's 100 degrees out. You can't just put the dog in. I don't know if they have the car running or what. Because sometimes they sit out there in their car and just sit there for hours. I don't know what they're doing. But today I saw what I'm thinking maybe they're moving out because they were hauling all their clothes out and putting them in the car. So I don't know. Now when I came home, the car was there. So I can only hope. I can only hope. Like I told Dave, I said, I know we'll probably get some more trash and we live in apartments, but at least maybe the community will be nice for a few days. Who knows? You know, we're lucky right where we're at. We have good neighbors in the little section we're in. Matter of fact, tonight I had Izzy out for a walk. She didn't need to go out and go potty this time. She'd already been out, done all her business, had her shape, but I made, we had breakfast tonight for supper. I made scrambled eggs and bacon, and I didn't even think about it. I came home from work and I thought, oh, well, I'm home and the apps are busy right now. I'm going to make us dinner. And then what I've been doing is I come home, I eat dinner, and then I'll go out for another 1 or 2 hours till dark. I don't go out after dark. It is too sketchy to go out after dark. And so I don't do that. But I threw the bacon in the oven and we're watching some YouTube and doing some stuff, and I forgot to turn the fans all on. In this apartment, I have come to the conclusion, if you bake, especially bacon, or anything, seems like pretty much anything in this oven. I don't know, this apartment's almost 900 square foot, which I know is tiny, but it's comfortable for us. But you have to turn all the ceiling fans on when you run the oven. Turn all the ceiling fans on, bump the AC down a couple degrees, and even the fan above the microwave, or the one, because it has the microwave above the stove, you have to turn the fan on in that too. Otherwise your smoke detector will go off. And it's all the way down here at the end of the hall, but it still goes off. And I forgot today, and it wasn't even smoky or anything, but the smoke detector went off. And of course, so then Izzy's, freaked right out. And Dave had to take the smoke detector down because it's hardwired in and it's got the battery. So just taking the battery out doesn't work. You have to unhook it from the wires and get it down, and he got to go beeping that or screaming that way. But the damage was done. The dog was traumatized, and then he was watching a video after we finally got her calmed back down. Of course, giving her a couple little pieces of bacon, little breaking off pieces, kind of helped her settle down. But then somebody on a YouTube thing that Dave was watching in the living room, and they were working on, I think it was a tractor or a truck or something, and it made a squealing noise, and like something with the starter. I don't know. That set her off again, so then she was like shaking again. So she wanted to go out after, actually, it was after we ate and everything. I don't know. She wanted to go back out. So I said, okay, let's go for a walk. Thought maybe she had to go potty. But it was just, she wanted out of here. She'd had enough with all the screeching noises, and she wasn't having no more of it. So went out for a walk. Well, coming back past our one neighbor, she has 2 little dogs, like a little, I don't know if it's just, I don't think it's a schnauzer. It's a scruffy looking little dog. And then she has like a little Chihuahua dog. And Izzy has met the little scruffy looking dog, and they seem to get along fine. And actually, Izzy's always fine usually with any other dog, or at least she always has been. Well, since we've had her 12 years going, yeah, it'll be 12 years next month we've had her. And, so she's always been good with any other dogs, but the little Chihuahua came out, and I guess he doesn't get along with other dogs, but he seemed to get along fine with this. He was jumping all over her, and she was bouncing around, and the neighbor lady apologized, but, I mean, it was okay, but she doesn't know me because I've only been in this apartment a couple months. We've seen her out, before we moved in here. Some of them, because we used to walk down this way, would see us and, well, hello, or they walked down past where we lived. But she asked if I would watch her dogs a couple days at the end of the month, which I wasn't going to take them if I was permanent to the house, but she just needs me to go over. They're going to be gone on the one day, they're going to be gone all day, so she'll take care of them in the morning and feed them and take them out, and then she just wants me to come over in the afternoon, take them out to potty, and then at supper time feed them, and then one more time take them out to potty. So I said, yeah, I could do that, and she's willing to pay me to do it, which I told her she didn't need to do that, but she said, no, I'd rather pay them, because she said she'd rather pay me than pay somebody she don't know at all. So that's fine, I can do that, I don't mind. But now hopefully her dogs will like me. That's the thing, you never know. I've never petted the dogs. Izzy's liked them and everything, but I don't know. I'm sure it'll be just fine. I'm a dog person, so hopefully the dogs will know that. But so that was what we did tonight. Izzy seems calmed down now, and I thought I'm gonna come in here and do a video. And I wanted to mention something. I was watching a video today, and they had mentioned about making sure, sometimes some of these YouTube creators that you watch on TV, you don't really know what they're like. Like me, if you're somebody that knows me personally, you know me. But, if you're somebody that just happened to come across this channel, or you don't know me, you don't know, I might be some kind of psycho, you don't know. I really am not, but, you don't know. And, there is a thing right now, there's a gentleman that actually Dave and I watched. One of our sons had watched, and it mentioned, oh yeah, there's this old guy that, the story was from, we watched his video at that time, and then we went back to watch, from the beginning. Cause sometimes we like to do that, unless they've got like 7 years of videos. But, if they're just got a couple years of videos, we'll go back and watch their video from the beginning. And cause for one thing, I know from doing YouTube, if somebody watches your stuff, all the hours, you have to have so many hours of watch time before you can get paid. I am not anywhere near subscribers or watch hours of getting paid. I just do this so, I can go back to it someday, or maybe my grandkids. My one granddaughter, Brinley, she always liked when I used to do all the Avon stuff on Here's How It All Got Started. I would go on and show the new Avon products coming out when because I did Avon for many, many moons. And so Brinley got, so she would, when she first could watch YouTube, her stepdad, bless his heart, let her go. She's on his YouTube thing, but he allows her to put my channel on there so she could go on and she could watch. And there's one on there where she was doing my makeup and stuff. So when she was, I don't know, probably 4 years old, maybe 5. But I thought, because I don't see her. She lives across the country. Although one of these days I'm gonna get up there to visit her, and we're moving back up north somewhere someday, God willing anyway. We never know. We try to leave that in God's hands. If he wants us here, then I guess here's where we'll be. But I'm really kind of hoping, He wants us somewhere northern of here. But, because we just don't really fit in here. But that's a whole different video. But yeah, so anyway, so I do this. I mean, yeah, if eventually my channel grows, that'd be awesome. But, you know, for right now, I just do it to do it, I guess, as like a little hobby or something. But, anyway, back to, I get a squirrel moment and I'm off on something else. Anyway, so there's a gentleman that, I won't name what his channel is or anything, but, you know, he has some really, you know, sad story. We were watching and I thought, oh my gosh, this poor guy. And I thought he was quite an older gentleman, I mean, I'm 59, but I thought he was quite a bit older than me, honestly. And, we were shocked. One time he mentioned, I think he said he was like 60, and I thought, no way. Yeah, because David always say, well, you know that old guy we watch on TV, because he can never remember names. And I'm like, honey, he's younger than you. I know, he always says. But, so anyway, which I don't believe he is 60. I think that was kind of a farce. But, you know, he had this sad story about, you know, losing his wife, and he has no family. He took care of all his family members. They all one by one died, and he has all these animals. He has, I want to say, 3 small dogs and 3 large dogs, and 3 cats. And he got them all. He didn't have any of them. None of them were his. But his family members all had pets. And as they died, he was taking care of the family members. They were living with him. And as they died, he got these pets. And he didn't want to get rid of them because they didn't know anybody else. So, you know, and you think, oh, that's really a nice thing to do, you know. That's got to be kind of a burden for somebody. But then again, he's such a lonely guy that, which he had mentioned about, he was hoping to meet a woman and get married again at some time. And I thought, oh, okay. And he lived in a really old camper on some property that somebody had let him live on. And, you know, but his channel was, you know, about like when you're older and you're broke, and, you know, and I'm thinking, oh, it sounds like me right now. But, you know, he talks about those kind of things, and, you know, how sometimes you got to do this. He sold everything he owned just to pay off his debt, and all he had left was enough to buy this old camper, and he lives in it, but he's just really lonely, and you know, he just makes you want to listen to the stories, because you think, well, God, the old guy just doesn't have anybody to talk to. He uses YouTube to reach out to talk to people. And it was really a sad story. And, you know, so we watched his videos. We watched them. We went back and watched them from the beginning all the way through, caught them up, and every time one would pop on, you know, we'd watch the video just to, you know, give him his little thumbs up and, you know, trying to help the guy out. And then things changed, a couple months ago. We noticed he went from being just somebody that was trying to, okay, you know, let's, you know, this is what I did to, you know, I only make like, I don't remember if he said like 1,000. Oh, and Andy had a stroke. That was before his wife died. He had a stroke, so he couldn't work anymore. And so his wife was the only income, and then his wife was killed. So, you know, so you're really thinking, oh, you know, it's not like, you know, he can probably go out and find another job. He probably is, you know, he says he's disabled, and I believe he probably was, or is, you know, by his video anyway. And so, you know, I go through, you know, we're thinking, oh, poor old guy. So we watch his videos and they were fine with them. He announces that he was able to save up. He doesn't get much from YouTube, but the little bit he has, he's been saving up, and he was finally able to buy his own piece of property. And we're like, oh, good for him, Even though we saw where he lived, he would sometimes be sitting outside or he'd show around, because he would show like the old camper that he lived in. And I'm thinking, that has got to be something else. He's got 6 dogs living in there and 3 cats. And it was like I want to say a 24-foot camper or something. Now, Dave and I had our camper, we had a 24 or 26-foot. And I was thinking, oh my goodness. We had 2 small dogs at the time. And we didn't have grandkids yet. So I'm like, oh my gosh, I don't know how this man does it. I give him lots of credit for doing it. And he always talked about how his pets were first, and no matter what, he would take them to the vet if they needed to go to the vet. And then the one time he shaved the one, it was one of those, I can't think of what they're called. It's the big white fluffy dogs. And he shaved it. I mean, I know a lot of people shave their dogs when it gets warm. He shaved it like it was skin almost. And I thought, oh, that poor dog. But I thought, well, maybe he didn't mean to shave him that low. I guess hair grows back. So I always say when I get mine cutting, it don't turn out, well, it'll grow back. It's fine. But yeah, so he had these pets. Well, then he bought this property, and he bought a tiny house, like a shed thing to convert over, and he put it on his property. But his property, there's I'm thinking where it's all in the woods, and supposedly, that was part of the draw to this property, because it was out. He just wants to be out on his own property and not be bothered by anybody and just be alone. And then he has this young guy, because he doesn't have any family, didn't have any children. So he doesn't have anybody. But he goes out there, and then he has a friend, which I thought, well, maybe he has a friend through church or something. And so this young guy, I thought was going to live out there with him, but then the young guy has a job, so he wasn't going to be there all the time. I thought, well, maybe he's not actually living there. Maybe he's just inheriting it when the old guy dies. Well, supposedly he's not even old, because remember, he's like a year older than me. But he just kind of changed when he went out there, because we watched, and I mean, there was times he couldn't even get to his property. It's up a hill, up a mountain, and it's a dirt path that he would get stuck. And I thought, what are you doing? How are you going to build anything out there on the side of a hill? Because it's like a side of a hill with a river that runs through there. And I'm thinking, I hope it doesn't flood there, because if you put your house near the river, you're going to be flooded out. And I guess he did, and it sounds like he put it part way up this hill or mountain or whatever, and but I'm like, he's out there, and he's got all these dogs, and don't look like he takes them out to walk them to potty, but I'm like, gosh, Izzy likes to go out a gazillion times a day. I can't imagine he's out walking them. He'd get nothing else done, because I know he said something about he had 10 animals, because I think the young guy had a couple dogs too or something, and they were coming to live there too. That's why I thought the young guy was going to live there with them, but apparently he doesn't. Well, then he's becoming part of this community, and he wants to help these people out, but I'm thinking, I thought he didn't want to be near anybody. I thought, well, I guess maybe it's good. Maybe it's drawing him out of that dark space that he was in or whatnot. But I thought, where he was at, it looked really nice. And it was, he could get to town within, I don't know, however many minutes. It was probably, I don't know, maybe 15, 20 minutes. I don't know, because he ran to town different times. He'd say, I got to run to town and get him this or medicine or something, or dog food, whatever. And here he's like out in the middle of nowhere. And I thought, man, if you get hurt out there at your age, you're by yourself. And then seeing when he was moving out there, I thought, it's not like an ambulance or fire truck's going to be able to get to you. Whatever, okay. So, fast forward to, so the young guy in the last video that I watched, because I was subscribed and Dave was subscribed. We do that if it's somebody that we really like, just so that we both can watch. Like sometimes Dave will watch TV in the living room and I'll go in the bedroom and I'll watch TV in there because I don't want to watch what he's watching. So I might watch something that he's already watched and he's gave him the thumbs up. I'll go in and I'll do the same thing. Or sometimes I just go in and give him a thumbs up if we both watched it in the living room. But I quit watching when the young guy wasn't there, and then all of a sudden he was back again. Which, if he had a job, he has a job, I guess, that he travels for or something. I don't know. Didn't say what it was. Well, now all of a sudden the young guy is also putting a shed on the property, and I'm thinking, oh, okay. So he's going to put a shed on it. And all of a sudden now he's met this woman, he's engaged, and she has a baby. So they're all moving out onto this property. But the reason that's not the reason I quit watching. The reason I quit watching is because the young guy was like some salesman on the channel. He's just like, oh, and we do this because, it's going to help this company out. And if you do this, every home needs to have this in their life because it'll do this for you and that for you. And he's, doing this. I'm like, okay, that guy seems kind of like he's some kind of con guy. So then I thought, well, does this old guy, does he know what this kid, is he getting suckered into this kid's whatever he's got going on? Because it seemed kind of shady. And so then the next one was, he started having like really weird videos. The other one was, he was interviewing, he had some other people there. And I'm thinking, who are all these people? I thought he moved out to the woods to be away from everybody. Now all of a sudden he's always talking about how the community's coming together and we're going to get this house for this. There's this young couple living down the road from me that I met that are living in their car. They have a baby and they live in their car, and it's just not right that you can't raise a child just living in a car. They did the right thing and bought property, but they're living in a car. We got to get them a house, and we'll use my trailer to move it out there. And I thought, that seems kind of strange. So anyway, after the last couple ones with the young guy, and then I don't even know who the other people were, I'm like, no, I'm not going to watch this anymore. So I just unsubscribed from him. And lo and behold, today I'm watching one of the YouTubers that I do like to watch, and he's talking about how you don't know these people. You have to really watch, especially if you're somebody that sends money to these YouTubers, because, of course, I don't have anything on here for you to send anything, so you don't send me nothing. There's actually no way for you to send me anything, and I'm all good with that. But there's, some people that, here's my link to this, or, you can buy me coffee, you can, some people, there's one guy that they used to like to watch on one of the weight loss things, and he had his Amazon wish list on there, and it was a younger guy, and he had his Amazon wish list on there. Well then, there was people that was like religiously sending him things, like he'd thank him on his channel, and he would thank like these same people oh, they sent me this and they sent me that. And they sent me this new camera to make my videos better. And they sent me a new microphone. And they sent me this to help me with my weight loss. And they sent me this. And I thought, oh my gosh. Then it was, well, Christmas is coming. And so I included my wife and my little girl, some things on there. If you want to get them something, then you can. And I thought, that's kind of tacky. It's one thing if people are putting like, hey, this is the drink packs I buy. I'll list it in the comments or in the description so that the viewer can actually say, oh, because I just did that with a lady yesterday. She was making some electrolyte stuff, and she put the ingredients that she showed that she uses. She put them in her description, and it was helpful because then I could just click on it and say, okay, that's what she's using, and so I know what to get when I order some. But to sit there and just like have a wish list almost, I don't think that's right. And matter of fact, I quit watching that channel for a while. I did go back and watch him again. He's gone a different route he used to be a carnivore guy, and he's gone different now, and he's had surgery now and stuff, but oh my goodness, excuse me. It's that bacon. Excuse me. But anyway, I do watch his videos, but he don't put as many out now, so I don't know what's first. But anyway, sidetracked once again. If you watch me long or if you know me, I get sidetracked easily. So anyway, this guy, the old guy that I've been talking about, he apparently has some very serious legal issues in his past. I would have never watched him if I would have known. Didn't know. But somebody had mentioned that, we don't know all we know about people. And he didn't name any names or any channels or anything. But I looked at Dave and I said, gosh, do you think it's so-and-so? And then he mentioned a couple other things. I'm like, oh, if it isn't, man, there's somebody else out there doing some of the same thing so-and-so did in his videos. And then when I heard what the crimes were that he did, I can't believe he's going to have many subscribers. I don't know. I don't know what YouTube, if they will cancel your channel if you are a really nasty person or not. I'm not sure. As far as I'm concerned, it seemed like if people were donating to this man, they were really getting swindled, because a lot of the story that I just told you about the poor guy's life, not so true. And he had some pretty serious, disturbing, criminal things that happened. And yeah, I'll leave it at that. But I thought the person that said you don't know the people you're watching is true. We do really have to be careful. We have to be careful. I meet people every day, and I'm probably kind of guilty of being naive to this. Unless somebody crosses me like that lady with the loose pit bull that runs out there. Might be a nice dog, I don't know, but I don't like it's a big dog, and I don't want to be jumped all over, and she don't pick up after it. We live in an apartment complex. When your dog potties, if you're going to have a dog and you're going to live in an apartment complex, you need to pick up after it. Dave picked up after our dogs everywhere we've ever lived. We lived in the country on an acre lot, well, on 2 acres. He picked up after him. We had horses. He picked up after him. That's just part of having a pet. You have animals, there's just some things you have to do. So, there are people there's the occasional restaurant worker that, will get kind of... I've had a lot of this. I gotta tell you, the other night, Dave went out riding with me when I went to do a DoorDash, and we decided I'd take this one. And it was a stacked order, which means DoorDash sent you 2 orders, 2 different pickups and 2 drop-offs. But the restaurants it was Whataburger and a Chinese place right almost next door to each other, like across the parking lot. I saw that won't be too bad. And it was decent pay for the miles, and I'm like, yeah, why not? We'll take it. I went in there, and it was, of course, the person had, 2 meals, and they had 3 drinks. And I walked in, and the meals were there, 2 drinks were there, 3rd drink was up on another shelf, and they had the label, so I knew they all went with this order. I waited forever trying to get an employee to wait on me just to ask, can I have a drink carrier? There was none sitting out anywhere, but there was no way I was going to be able to carry all this food and 3 drinks to my car and then carry them from my car to probably a 3rd floor apartment without dropping or spilling something. And the girl at the register was waiting on 2 women, so I'm like, okay, I'll wait my turn. Well, she's waiting on them. They must have gave her a bill bigger than what she could break. So then she had to go get a key from somebody. Mind you, nobody from the back comes up front. She has to get a key. She has to go back to the office, get change, bring it up to the register, make change, give the customer their change, takes the money, goes back to the office, and she's in no hurry doing this. Meanwhile, one other person, who I believe was one of the management, comes out and pushes past me. Oh, excuse me. She goes over and sits down at one of the tables where she's got a coffee and a laptop set up there, and I'm thinking, all I need is a drink carrier. And I made the comment, I said, they must be a little short on help in here. No response. I'm like, and of course, the 2 women that are getting waited on decide they're just going to strike up a conversation with the waitress or the cashier lady. And she's just taking her time, and I'm thinking, I'd already had a really bad day. That was Monday. Monday had been one of those days where it was like every single order I went to pick up, there was some dilemma with. Every drop-off I went to drop off, some kind of problem with. And it was hot, and it was yucky out. And this was, after supper, I was just done. I'm like, screw this. And I unassigned from the order. I thought, sorry to the folks that ordered it. They didn't deserve to not get their food. And by the time somebody else comes, it's probably going to be really cold because it had already been sitting out there when I got there. I don't know how long. Maybe other people had unassigned. But I'm like, I'm not going to stand here for 20 minutes to get a cup holder when I have another customer across the parking lot who is also waiting. Their order's also waiting on me. So then I can't get over there because everybody's blocking every intersection. So I had to drive around, and I was so mad by then. And I got thinking, I thought, you know what? DoorDash has this thing, all the apps, in case you're not familiar, which unless you're a delivery driver or know a delivery driver, you probably wouldn't be. They'll give us 2 orders. And generally one of them is a decent order that somebody's, tipped or they're paying enough that it covers what we need. When I accept the order, I accept it because that price is, and, I'm willing to go that many miles for that price. And, if it's 2 orders, and generally I don't care if it's 2 orders or 1 order, but the problem runs into when it's 2 orders, if for any reason one of the orders can't be picked up or dropped off, you don't know which one paid the decent and which one they were giving you $1.50 to deliver and no tip. And you don't know. It could be the person that's 8 miles from the restaurant, had no tip, and DoorDash is only giving you $1.50. The good order is the one that you don't have. So you can really get screwed that way. And after I got to the second restaurant, I thought, the day I've been having, and this was like an 8-mile trip to do this delivery, I thought, how much you want to bet I'm going to drive 8 miles to this person's house to drop it off, and they're going to be the one that's going to be like $1.50, $2. That's all I'm going to get. I thought, nope. Dave said, just unassign from it then. He was fed up with me and the whole situation. I was ticked off. I was ready to strangle people. So I unassigned, which then DoorDash screws you that way too, because when you accept, you can't just say, I'll take the one, but I won't take the other. You have to, when you accept, you're accepting both. But when you unassign, you have to unassign from both. Or one, and then if you don't want the other one, you unassign for the other. So that hits you for unassigning from 2 orders. And you have a completion rate. And if it gets below a certain amount, they will kick you off the platform. I do not know what that noise was. I just heard some noise. Do not know what that was. But yeah, it was just one of those days. So that was kind of, Monday was all day like that. So yeah, and I don't remember now where I was going with that, but I don't know. I've gone on long enough with this. Holy cow, yeah, I have. All right, y'all. I'm going to end this here because I have probably bored you out of your mind with this. But make sure you pay attention. Don't send money to YouTube people. If you're going to send money to them, at least Google their name or their channel to find out who they are. Try to find out before you go sending them money to make sure they're not some creep. I mean, you don't know. They might be just fine. Maybe it's legit. Maybe they're down on their luck. People are all the time. But nowadays it seems like there's an awful lot of creepy people out there, and you just can't trust anybody. Like I said, that's where I was going with that. I do tend to be naive and let, just think, oh, that person's really nice, when actually, I don't know, they could be some axe killer, I deliver in some pretty shady areas of the city here. Matter of fact, there was one guy just got stabbed to death in one of the areas I go to. I think, yeah. So he wasn't a delivery driver, but he was a neighbor to the people that stabbed him to death. So it can happen. Anyway, I'm going to get off here because I've talked on here way, way too long. I hope you all are having a great day today. I don't know what is today's Wednesday, halfway through the week. If you're somebody that has a weekend off, Friday's coming. Take care, everyone. I'll talk to you again soon here next one. Bye, everyone.